أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا المبعوث رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أوصيكم عباد الله وأوصي نفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل والورع عن محارمه واجتناب عما نهى عنه. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، ألف لام ميم، ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity, and we counsel ourselves as usual to try our level best to acquire taqwa, to correct our ways, and to follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the best advice that we are given, and this is where our salvation is. In this first sermon, I would like us to discuss a little bit about al-yaqeen, certainty. As we have seen in the ayat that I've recited, in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when describing some of the qualities of muttaqun and those ones who are guided by the book, is that they have certainty in the hereafter. They have yaqeen. What is yaqeen? Yaqeen means to believe in something deeply, to an extent that that faith, that belief cannot be swayed, cannot be challenged, it remains firm. It's a stable iman in something. Having faith in something 100%. Believing in all the principles of faith, the major principles of faith, believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing in the prophethood, in the imamat, in adalat, in al-ma'ad, the return with yaqeen, thinking that there is no doubt in these principles of faith. One does not doubt about Allah, does not doubt about the prophethood, does not have any doubt about imamat, does not have any doubt about the adalat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he does not have any doubt about the hereafter. Having yaqeen in this, has certainty and yaqeen in the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't doubt about them. This is the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what has come from Allah, and therefore he implements it without any single doubt. It is important for us to understand that the true level of Iman lies with al-yaqeen. Riwayats have mentioned to us different categories, different stages and levels of faith. The lowest of these is being a Muslim. It's accepting Islam. Accepting Islam alone is not enough. Higher than Islam is having Iman, having faith, embracing the tenets of Islam, the principles of Islam, accepting them by heart. At the level of Islam, a person may accept certain concepts, certain principles by his mind. Logically, he can be able to express them, to talk about them. But it doesn't mean necessarily that it becomes part of his own emotional reaction. It becomes part of his own heart. It's not necessarily that it's deep in the heart. Iman is what has settled in the heart, not only in the mind of a person. We may study and we may learn certain things and accept them logically, but there is a difference of accepting something logically and now agreeing to it and making it to be part of us, settling it in the heart. This is why we see that Imam Ja'far bin Muhammad al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi tells us, إن الإيمان أفضل من الإسلام. Iman is better than Islam. Definitely. When the Arab came to the Prophet ﷺ and said that we have believed, the answer came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to tell them that you have not yet embraced Iman. بل قولوا أسلمنا. Say, we have accepted Islam. We have submitted ourselves to Islam. But Iman is yet to enter your hearts. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلُ الْإِسْلَامِ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. It's not yet. So Iman is martaba ulya. It is a higher level. It's just not accepting, submitting. It is really having that in the heart. وَإِنَّ الْيَقِينَ أَفْضَلُ مِنَ الْإِيمَانِ. And yaqeen, certainty, is better than Iman. Meaning that there is a stage higher than just having faith. There is a level whereby a person moves from having normal faith and has yaqeen, embraces yaqeen. Yaqeen is that higher level that a person would attain, and it's also in different stages, and I'll mention that. وَمَا مِنْ شَيْءٍ أَعَزُّ مِنَ الْيَقِينِ. There is nothing higher for a person than al-yaqeen. To also tell us the importance of yaqeen, some riwayas point to this. إِنَّ الْعَمَلَ الدَّائِمِ الْقَلِيلِ. Deeds that are performed with yaqeen, however little they could be, that little amal that is performed on the basis of yaqeen with certainty, أفضل عند الله من العمل الكثير على غير يقين. It is better to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than those deeds that are many. Person performs a lot of deeds, but they are without proper yaqeen. A person prays a lot, fasts a lot, does so many things, but doesn't have that yaqeen, that level of certainty. He still entertains certain doubts about some principles, about some commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The value of those acts are less in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the importance of al-yaqeen. Now, How do we understand, how do we come to know that we have yaqeen? How can a person claim to have yaqeen? And again, it's not theoretical. Saying it is different from feeling it in the reality. So what is the dalil? What's a sign of a person having yaqeen? In a hadith, min sihhati yaqeen al-mar'i al-muslim. Among the signs of a person having yaqeen, an la yurdi an-nasa bi sakhatillah, that he does not please people. He does not make people happy while he is angering and annoying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If a person still considers pleasing people to be a priority, he would rather make people happier than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it means he has a problem with his yaqeen. The priority is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another thing, وَلَا يَلُومُهُمْ عَلَى مَا لَمْ يَأْتِهِ اللَّهِ. He doesn't blame people for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given him. If a person has yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he knows that it's Allah who provides, it's Allah who gives. So if people did not give him, he will not start blaming people why they have not given me. Okay, it's another way of doubting the qismah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the giving of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gives. And what he has written for you, it comes. فَإِنَّ الرِّزْقَ, then Imam emphasizes on this, says, فَإِنَّ الرِّزْقَ لَا يَسُقُهُ حِرْصُ حَرِيصٍ. Sustenance, rizq of a person does not come because of the greed of a person. That I want it so much, with a lot of greed, that it will come. It doesn't. You can't force it. The sustenance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for you to just come, you will not pull it because of your hirs. Hirs is the excessive tama'a, greedy. I want it so badly. So I try to push it, I want to pull it towards myself. وَلَا يَرُدُّهُ كَرَاهِيَّةُ كَارِهٍ. It's not turned away because the person doesn't like it, doesn't want it. وَلَوْ أَنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ فَرَّ مِنْ رِزْقِهِ. If somebody amongst you was to run away from his rizq, it's ajib riwayah. If somebody was to run away from his rizq, كَمَا يَفِرُّ مِنَ الْمَوْتِ, the same way he runs away from death, لَأَدْرَكَهُ رِزْقُهُ كَمَا يُدْرِكُهُ الْمَوْتِ. His rizq, his sustenance, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for him, it will come to him just like death comes. So having yaqeen in this, if you find in yourself that you have this level of iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that you are not a person who wants to appease people while you are annoying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that is the level of yaqeen. That is yaqeen. Yaqeen has a lot of benefits. Having certainty in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having yaqeen in Allah and what He has commanded, is a source of peace and happiness. In the hadith, he says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِعَدْلِهِ وَقِسْطِهِ جَعَلَ الرَّوْحَ وَالرَّاحَةَ فِي الْيَقِينِ وَالرِّضَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His own justice, out of His own adl and qis is similar in the meaning with a little difference. Out of the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has made joy, happiness to be peaceful fil yaqeen wa rida. In having yaqeen, having certainty in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and being pleased with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed, accepting what Allah has passed. Al-Rida. This is what we learn from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, that they are the people who are always peaceful and they are pleased with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees. Rida Allahi ridana Ahlul Bayt. Nasbiru ala bala'ihi. When Imam Hussein alayhi salam was moving towards Karbala, one of his statements is, Rida Allahi ridana Ahlul Bayt. What Allah pleases is our pleasure, is what we accept. What Allah has decided is what we are going to go with. We will not complain and we will not start, saying things about Allah. Why have you decided this? Why did you do this to me? Why did you choose this for me? Why did you not give me this? Complaining about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the levels of yaqeen is that a person is pleased with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed. What Allah has decided, it's okay. I don't complain about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's justice. This is it. So he says that such people find peace, find happiness, because what Allah has decided is good, not shar. Therefore they submit themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they do not complain. So they are peaceful and their hearts are tranquil. وَجَعَلَ الْهَمَّ وَالْحُزْنَ فِي الشَّكِّ وَالسَّخْطِ. And anxiety and worries are made into doubts. When a person is not stable in his faith, in his iman, doubting about akhirah, doubting about Allah, doubting about, is this from Allah or not, is this from the prophets or not, he is not stable in his mind, he's shaky. When a person is shaky, then he finds no peace in his heart. But with yaqeen, with iman, you are at peace. Because this is going to pass in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You learn this in Karbala, when Imam Hussein alayhi salam was saying, Hawwana alayya. It has become easier for me to bear all this because all this is happening in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And bi'aynillah. This is the example that he gives us. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he is hurt by the children of Ta'if, when he sits in one of the places, he says, if Allah, you are not angry with me, then la ubali, no problem. This is what we need to search for. It's easier for a person, for some of us, to claim iman, to claim faith in Allah, in all these things, but when we are tested, it's a different story. But we need to build it, we need to work on it, so that we raise the level of yaqeen. And it is a person with yaqeen that reaches the destination safely. In one of the beautiful explanations of the thamara, the fruit of yaqeen, Al-Imam Rida salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, answering a person who was asking him, a person does israf, he says what is right, but he does israf on himself, and even drinks and does kaba'ir, he commits kaba'ir. This is the one person. And on the other hand, is a person who does not do these things, but he has less yaqeen. So he asks his the Imam, who among these two is better than the other? Now listen to the answer. He says, فَقَالَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ أَحْسَنُهُمَا يَقِينًا. The one who has better yaqeen, the one who has a higher level of yaqeen, is like كَنَائِمَ عَلَى الْمَحَجَّةِ, is like a person who's sleeping on the right path. إِذَا انْتَبَهَ رَكِبَهَا. If he wakes up, he will continue with his journey towards the right destination. وَالْأَدْوَانِ, the one who is lower than that, يَدْخُلْهُ شَكْ, he has doubts, he entertains doubts, and he's not sure whether he's following the right path or not. كَنَائِمَ عَلَى غَيْرِ الطَّرِيقِ. It's like a person who is sleeping on a wrong way. لَا يَدْرِي إِذَا انْتَبَهَ أَيُّهُمَا الْمَحَجَّةِ. So when he wakes up, he doesn't know which direction to take. Should he go this way or that way? He doesn't know. But a person with yaqeen, if he is shaken, he is waken up, wake up. He leaves the kaba'ir, he leaves drinking and all that, and he moves on the right path. But without yaqeen, he doesn't know which direction to take. This is the importance of yaqeen and the level of yaqeen. Now I'll not, inshallah ta'ala, we'll talk about some levels of yaqeen in the next opportunity, inshallah ta'ala. So I'll stop at this point, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants us opportunity to enhance our iman, to raise the level of our yaqeen, and so that we can be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and forgive our parents and all mu'minun. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من العين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين. I would like to continue with my discussion about financial obligations in Islam. I have so far discussed a little bit about zakat and other forms of spending that are wajib in Islam. The other type of spending that is obligatory and is among the pillars of Iman and faith is paying of khums, paying of fifth of the earnings or the surplus profit that remains at the end of the year, or what a person acquires of minerals and treasures and other things, war booties and all that we will mention. This is one of the important obligations in Islam and strictly practiced by the Shia Imamiyya, by the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and there is no doubt in it that this is an obligation that is clearly stated in the Holy Quran as well as in the Ahadith. In my little reading, it is said that besides the ayah that talks about khums, there are about 110 riwayats, ahadith, that have spoken about khums. And sometimes certain people entertain doubts about this obligation and accuse the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam or the scholars to have made a certain obligation out of their wishes. It is not there. But if you look into the Quran al-Karim and the exegesis of the Holy Quran, the explanations of the ayat of the Holy Quran, as well as the ahadith, you'll find it clearly stated. The argument should not be that it is mentioned only once. It doesn't have to be mentioned more than once so that it becomes wajible, so that it becomes important. And some people, when they argue against khums, they say, why do you emphasize so much on khums while the greater emphasis is on zakat? And we stated that zakat has a greater, wider meaning, which may encompass other spendings which are not even obligatory. It could also include khums. But there is a specific mention of khums, and that a Muslim is supposed to practice it and do it in his life. Let's look at the verse of khums, which is in chapter Surah number 8, ayah number 41, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ لِلَّهِ خُمْسَهُ وَلِلرَّسُولِ وَلِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ إِن كُنتُمْ آمَنْتُم بِاللَّهِ وَمَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا يَوْمَ الْفُرْقَانِ يَوْمَ الْتَقَى الْجَمْعَانِ وَاللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. The translation of this verse is, know that whatever thing you may come by, this is literal translation, verily a fifth of it is for Allah and the apostle, for the relatives and the orphans, the needy and the traveler. If you have faith in Allah, every word here is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and carefully it points to many things. And what we send, if you have faith in Allah, and what we send down to our servant on the day of separation, Yawm al-Furqan, the day when the two hosts met. This is the day of Badr, the battle of Badr. This is when this verse was revealed. And it says, and Allah has power over all things. So this is an ordainment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no doubt about it. To understand this, scholars would search in the qawamis lugha, in the dictionaries of language. They would go into depth about what it is